am taking you on a baking adventure today. Here I am trying to make eclairs. I have one recipe that has weights on it, so I was too excited last night. I weighed out all my ingredients. I have 70 grams of sugar, 40 grams of cornstarch, 15 grams of butter at room temperature. This recipe doesn't specify that, but a couple others did. 480 milliliters of milk. I will do teaspoons of, well, 2 teaspoons like it says in the recipe, of my mom's homemade vanilla, which just knocks every other vanilla out of the park. And then 4 egg yolks. Okay. Step 1, prepare the pastry cream. This needs to sit in the refrigerator for a while. So we're gonna do this first while we make the other things. So step 1, whisk the egg yolks with sugar until slightly pale. Also, having everything pre-measured makes this part go much faster. I don't have to like do anything else. I can just like, whoop, there we go. Okay, get that out of the way. Use this fancy pants whisk until it is slightly pale. Watching videos really helps with this part, because a lot of times you read recipes and you're like, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. And then you can go ahead and get scared when what you're doing doesn't look like the pictures or the video, which is kind of how I'm feeling right now. But maybe it's the lighting. I don't know. We're just gonna go until it looks pretty incorporated. All right, that looks like some yolky sugar right there. Just pour milk into saucepan and bring to a simmer. Oh yeah, we got fire. Incorporate the cornstarch while I am waiting for the milk to come into a simmer. So we're gonna take our 40 grams of cornstarch. Getting your ingredients and all your equipment in place has a French term, because of course it does. It's called mise en place. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Egg yolks and sugar and cornstarch. This is incorporated. Now we're just waiting for the milk to come to a simmer. Oh, we have milk over here that is threatening to simmer. I'm dreaming of French pastry. We're gonna lower that because it's looking real bubbly. This step is really important because in all of the videos and on the Great British Bake Off, this is how you avoid making scrambled eggs instead of pastry cream. The next step, it says pour about 1/3 of the hot milk over the egg yolks. I don't know what 1/3 of this is though, so we're just gonna say that. I think it's just important to get some of it mixed in beforehand. Just get all those goodies in there. All right, so this looks pretty mixed up now. So we're gonna pour this right back into the saucepan and use this rubber scraper thingy. Get all that egg yolk sugar mixture plus cornstarch. Bring to a boil while stirring and thickens. Oh, I can see it thickening already. This is kind of exciting. Yeah, keep enough over heat to cook all the cornstarch. So I'm just gonna bring it to a boil like it says in the instructions. There's like big bubbles happening. Is that boiling? But we're gonna call this good. Turn that off. You haven't even added the butter yet. All right, so here we are. Removed from the heat. And this is where we add the vanilla. It says 2 teaspoons. Amy Zerwas, amazing baker, once said she at least doubles the vanilla in every recipe, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it's okay to do 3. It's not quite doubling, it's like 1.5-ing. And then I mix this up. It's starting to smell really good. That vanilla is just heavenly. All right, we're gonna say that's incorporated. So now it's time to pour it into a clean bowl. And I need to let it cool for 10 minutes. Ooh. Before I add the butter. It's important to give things like this a lot of attention while they're over the heat. Because right now I have a lot left in the bowl that's not coming out, but none of it is burned to the pan. And if you keep it moving, that's helpful. Set a timer for 10 minutes, please. It's time to add the butter. Okay. I let my butter sit out because it's recommended that this is at room temperature. Let's see if I can use this little, every gram counts, right? All right. Ooh, this looks jiggly. Oh, butter chunk. I'm just gonna let this all melt up. I don't know if you can see in the background, but in the break, I did wash dishes. I've heard people get annoyed with cooks and bakers who wash dishes while they work. If I have 10 minutes to sit, why not? Plus I need some of those dishes for the next step. Just kind of sift through here and make sure we don't have any more chunks of butter. And this needs to be cooled, which is why I did this first. The plastic wrap needs to touch the top of the pastry cream while it's sitting in the fridge. Ooh, it is still warm. It's kind of fun to touch, like, I don't know, silly putty or something. All right, so this is all covered. The plastic wrap is touching the pastry cream, which will avoid it creating some sort of weird skin on top. I'm gonna put this in the fridge and then start making the pastry cream while this cools. 4 eggs. Preheat oven to 350 degrees. Prepare choux pastry. That's not S-H-O-E, that is C-H-O-U-X. It is a French term. Not sure what it means. In a saucepan, I will bring the milk, water, bring it to a boil, so we're gonna put this on medium-high heat. Sugar, half a teaspoon of salt. I find it interesting that small amounts of salt are never measured by weight. Salt and butter to a boil. This part uses more butter. Alrighty. And it doesn't say this, but I'm assuming we are going to keep stirring to incorporate everything, not let anything burn. So we're whisking. You see the butter melting. We got like a weird white and pale yellow whirly swirly thing happening in here. All right, now we're just gonna wait for that to boil. I can tell that the milk is starting to heat up faster than the butter. I'm seeing white bubbles around the edges. Cooking is science. Ooh, now I'm getting some nice bubbles. Hey, hey. But it says a boil. This is, I called this a simmer, so we're still waiting. So this is getting foamy, which is not a boil. I just realized you want to be careful with milk because at a certain temperature it starts to curdle. Okay, so we're going to remove this from heat. Whoa. And it says to add the flour all at once, and it's supposed to be sifted. So I'm going to do this. That says all at once as it gets. The sifting part is really important, I've learned in other baking adventures, because when you get chunks of something, then you end up overworking the dough, and that can result in poor results. Because a lot of baking is actually not overworking the dough. Now I'm supposed to stir energetically with a wooden spoon, here we go, until homogeneous. Yeah, it's supposed to pull away from the sides. Oh my gosh, this looks like the videos. I'm so excited. Return the saucepan over low heat. Cook for 1 minute or 2 to pull out the moisture from the batter. So we're just gonna do this for a little bit longer. It kind of looks like Play-Doh. It's getting harder to stir. It said some of it will stick to the bottom of the pan, and that hasn't happened yet. But it is pulling away from the sides like it said. We can call it done. Transfer batter to a large bowl and allow to cool. Okay, yeah, it's sticking a little bit. I'm not sure how long this time, so maybe we'll just do like 3 minutes. Okay, so now that this is cooled, I just used the time to clean some dishes and hoped, it feels kind of cool. So now we're going to add the eggs one at a time. Whoop. And mix, carefully incorporating each into the batter using a wooden spoon or even a stand mixer. It will result in a smooth, homogeneous batter, which still holds its shape. I think we're not quite at that state yet, but I think it is time to add one more egg. Mixin', mixin', mixin'. I don't know why looks like scalloped potatoes, maybe? Are you seeing this? There's like big long chunks of dough. It's looking like a little bit like potatoes. But I have 2 eggs to go, so maybe it'll be fine. Oh yeah. Okay, one more. And look, all the ingredients are gone. Closer and closer. All right, you'd think that as you add more liquid, this would get easier, but it doesn't. Another reason it's important to have sifted flour. I don't have any flour chunks in here that I still have to work out, and that has been a workout. My arm and my hand are both quite tired. Oh, this is the part that I'm excited and really nervous about. So I ordered some tips. There's another one that we'll use to fill the eclairs later, and a reusable pastry bag. You can use Ziploc bags. I'm gonna put the tip in here, and I cut this last night, which was the most terrifying thing to do. Is like, I don't really know what to do with a pastry bag. I've never used one before. And here I am like taking scissors to it. It seems like, I don't know, kind of schmancy. All right, so I'm gonna put it in here and start filling it with, getting this in the pastry bag is proving to be a difficult task, not gonna lie. Ooh, uh-oh. It's fine, everything's fine. You wanna get all this choux pastry in there. Each of these needs to be 5 inches long, and having even sizes is really important for both the temperature and the baking time. So I really don't want to get this part wrong. I have the oven preheated to 350 degrees. To let the steam escape, the last 30 minutes of the bake will be with the oven slightly open. So 5, okay. We're just gonna eyeball it. Here we go. This is the, uh-oh, where'd my tip go? This is the 6-sided star tip, which was recommended. Okay, and they're supposed to be a certain amount wide. That's not 5 inches. This is gonna be a challenge, I can tell already. But it'll get better as I go, right? That's the point of practice. Pastry chefs, I already had a lot of respect for you, but now I have like way more. I'm gonna get a second tray piped and put these in the oven, and then we will reconvene when they are baked. Eclairs just came out of the oven. It looks like the ones on the top rack got more heat than the ones on the bottom. So I'm transferring to a wire rack for cooling. I'm feeling, as I'm putting this in there, that the inside is quite hollow. This one's maybe not hollow all the way through because my piping was a little thin right there. And this one too. It's kind of fun. I'm like poking and then I hit the top of it. And I'm actually going to put this tip right back in it. And get the pastry cream. The plastic wrap was all the way on top of it. I'm just gonna whisk it up a little bit. Oof. I see why this needs to be whisked. All right, we're gonna call that whisked. I think these are pretty well cooled, but I'm going to start with the lighter colored ones because they got less heat in general. And last time I put the pastry bag in this thing to fill it up, just so it had something to hold it while I was filling. One video said not to use all the pastry cream right away because it needs to be cold when you pipe it and your hands will heat it up. So I'm just gonna fill up a little bit of the bag and we're just gonna try to pipe, and they said you'll feel when it's getting full. I don't think anything's coming out. That's because I have a little bit of the cooked eclair in there. There we go. Now we got cream coming out, which would be why I did not feel the eclair filling up. Okay, back at it. Oh, I'm squeezing it up. just the bag. All right, just fill all the rest of the eclairs. Here we go. It is time to make the ganache. I'm measuring this in the more traditional way and not by weight because the scale here actually doesn't measure milliliters and I have no other indication of how much heavy whipping cream should go into this. So we're just gonna do 2/3 cup like it says. And also this isn't going in the oven and it doesn't need to like have an open center like the choux pastry did. So it's not as important. And this gets heated up. We're just gonna put it over a low heat. Once it's kind of hot, we'll pour it over the chocolate. Once the milk is ready, I'll begin stirring up until this is all melty and good, and then we'll dip the eclairs. A good start. I'm excited. All right, I'm gonna call this good and pour it over the chocolate chips. These are semi-sweet chocolate chips. You can use like actual chocolate, but these are just the standard Nestle chocolate chips. It's thickening up a little bit too. Oh yeah, check that rich chocolate color out. All right, and the recipe said this is more chocolate than we'll need, but it needs to be enough so that you have chocolate to dip in. And the next step is to dip the eclairs. Which one should go first? Let's try this one. Oh yeah, check that out. I dropped it. So far this has probably been the easiest part. All right, you have officially followed me on my journey to making eclairs for the first time. I will try the first one since the chocolate has probably cooled the most. So let's see what they taste like. A little bit of cream. So, my first experience using a piping bag. I have a lot to learn, but I'm excited to try again because this product is